Most people spend years trying to become better communicators. They read books, they watch videos, they promise themselves they will speak with more confidence next time. Yet when the moment comes, they still hesitate. Their thoughts feel tangled, their words feel uncertain. But what if improvement did not need years? What if focused hours could change how you speak and connect? Communication is not a talent given to a few. It is a skill built with awareness and practice. Small changes can create powerful results. In the next hours, you will learn how to speak clearly, listen deeply, and express yourself with calm confidence. Step by step, your voice can become stronger and more natural. If you want to keep improving your communication and follow the full journey, subscribe to this channel now. More chapters and audiobooks are shared here regularly to help you grow. Your time starts now. Chapter 1. Why most people struggle to communicate. Most people are not bad at communication. They are just untrained. They think the problem is their personality. They think they are too shy, too quiet, too awkward. But communication is not a personality trait. It is a learned behavior. No one is born knowing how to speak clearly. No one is born knowing how to express feelings well. These are skills shaped by experience. Many struggles begin in early life. As children, people are often told to stay quiet, to not interrupt, to not say the wrong thing. These lessons are not always bad, but sometimes they teach fear. Fear of speaking wrong, fear of being judged, fear of standing out. This fear grows silently. It follows people into adulthood. Later in life, they want to speak more, but the old fear remains. Another reason people struggle is overthinking. They try to build perfect sentences in their mind. They search for perfect words. While they think, the moment passes. The conversation moves on. Overthinking turns simple speech into pressure. Pressure tightens the body. A tight body affects the voice. A shaky voice affects confidence. This cycle repeats. Many people also confuse communication with performance. They believe speaking is like giving a speech. They think they must sound impressive. But real communication is not performance. It is connection. Connection happens in simple words, in honest tone, in natural pauses. When people try to perform, they stop listening. They focus on themselves. They worry about how they appear. This self-focus blocks connection. Another hidden struggle is lack of listening. People often listen to reply, not to understand. While the other person speaks, they prepare answers. They miss meaning. Good communication begins with good listening. Listening reduces pressure. It gives time to think. It creates understanding. Without listening, conversations feel shallow. Another reason people struggle is fear of judgment. They imagine others are judging every word. In reality, most people are thinking about themselves, their own worries, their own words. But the fear still feels real. Fear changes breathing. Breathing affects speech. When breath is short, words feel rushed. Rushed words sound unsure. Another common issue is lack of practice. Communication improves with use. Avoiding it keeps skills weak. Some people stay silent to avoid mistakes, but silence also prevents growth. Growth needs repetition. Another struggle is unclear thinking. If thoughts are messy, words become messy. Clear thinking supports clear speech. This does not mean you need big ideas. You need simple structure, one idea at a time. Another issue is comparing yourself to others. You may hear someone speak smoothly. You think they are naturally gifted, but smooth speakers often practiced for years. What looks natural is often trained. Comparison creates pressure. Pressure reduces confidence. Another problem is trying to please everyone. When you try to be liked by all, you filter too much. You soften your opinions. You hide your thoughts. This weakens your voice. A voice grows stronger when it is used honestly. Another struggle comes from past experiences. Maybe someone laughed at you once. Maybe you were ignored. Your brain remembers emotional pain. It tries to protect you. Protection sometimes becomes limitation. Another factor is digital communication. Texting and messaging reduce face-to-face practice. People get used to editing messages. Real speech has no edit button. This makes real conversations feel risky. Another reason is rushing. Modern life moves fast. People speak fast. They listen less. Rushing reduces clarity. Clarity needs space. Another issue is emotional control. Strong emotions cloud speech. Anger sharpens tone. Anxiety scatters thoughts. Without awareness, emotions lead the conversation. Another struggle is lack of feedback. Many people never learn how they sound. They never reflect. Reflection helps improvement. Another hidden reason is low self-trust. If you do not trust your thoughts, you hesitate. Hesitation breaks flow. Flow builds confidence. Another problem is believing communication must be perfect. Perfection is heavy. It slows action. Good communication is human, not perfect. Another factor is environment. Some environments do not encourage expression. People adapt by staying quiet. Later speaking feels unfamiliar. Unfamiliar things feel risky. Risk triggers fear. Fear reduces confidence. Another reason is mental noise. Busy minds struggle to speak calmly. Calm minds speak clearly. Calm comes from slowing down. Another struggle is identity labels. People say, "I am not a talker." They repeat this story. Stories shape behavior. Behavior shapes results. Results reinforce stories. This cycle can be changed. Another issue is misunderstanding confidence. Confidence is not loudness. It is steadiness. Quiet people can be confident. Loud people can be insecure. Confidence is internal. Another reason people struggle is trying to control outcomes. They want perfect reactions. They want approval. Control increases pressure. Pressure blocks natural speech. Another factor is lack of patience. Skills take time. Many people quit early. Consistency beats intensity. Small practice works. Another hidden problem is negative self-talk. Inner criticism weakens courage. Supportive self-talk strengthens it. Another struggle is ignoring body language. The body speaks first. Tension shows. Relaxed posture supports relaxed speech. Another reason is poor timing. Speaking at the wrong moment reduces impact. Awareness improves timing. Another issue is multitasking. Divided attention weakens connection. Connection needs presence. Another struggle is fear of silence. People rush to fill gaps. Silence is not failure. It is space. Another reason is misunderstanding communication as talent. Talent mindset limits growth. Skill mindset encourages practice. Communication is a skill. Skills improve. Another problem is avoiding discomfort. Growth feels uncomfortable. Avoidance keeps comfort small. Stepping slightly outside comfort builds confidence. Another factor is lack of curiosity. Curiosity reduces fear. It shifts focus outward. Outward focus reduces self-consciousness. Another struggle is emotional baggage. Old feelings affect new conversations. Awareness helps release them. Another reason is unclear goals. If you do not know why you speak, you hesitate. Purpose guides speech. Another problem is assuming others are better. Most people share similar fears. Fear is common. Practice is the difference. Another factor is energy. Low energy reduces expression. Rest supports communication. Another struggle is rushing improvement. Quick fixes rarely last. Slow learning lasts. Another reason is forgetting that communication is shared. It is not your job alone. Both sides shape it. This reduces pressure. Another important truth is this: if you can think, you can communicate. Speech is shaped thought. Thought can be organized. Organization can be learned. This means improvement is possible. You do not need to become someone else. You need to build skills. Skills grow with awareness, with practice, with patience. Most struggles are not permanent. They are patterns. Patterns can change. This audiobook is designed to change them, step by step, hour by hour. You are not broken. You are learning. And learning always begins with understanding the problem. Now you see it clearly. And when you see clearly, change becomes possible. That is where confident communication begins. Chapter 2. The foundation of clear speaking. Clear speaking does not begin with the mouth. It begins in the mind. If your thoughts feel crowded, your words will feel crowded. If your thoughts feel calm, your words will sound calm. Many people try to fix their speaking by changing their words. They search for better vocabulary. They memorize phrases. But clear speaking is built on clear thinking. When your mind is clear, simple words are enough. The first foundation of clear speaking is slowing down. A rushed mind creates rushed speech. Rushed speech creates confusion. Slowing down gives your brain time. Time to choose words. Time to breathe. Breathing matters more than most people realize. Breath controls voice. Voice carries meaning. When breathing is shallow, speech feels tight. When breathing is steady, speech feels relaxed. Before speaking, take a small breath. Not a dramatic one, just a calm inhale. This small act signals safety to your body. A safe body speaks more clearly. Another foundation is knowing your main point. Many people speak without direction. They start talking and hope clarity appears. Clarity rarely appears without intention. Before you speak, ask yourself one question. What am I trying to say? One clear idea is enough. You do not need many. When you hold one idea, your words follow it. Without a main idea, speech wanders. Wandering weakens confidence. Another foundation is using simple language. Simple does not mean weak. Simple means easy to understand. People connect with clarity, not complexity. Long sentences often hide confusion. Short sentences reveal clarity. Clear speakers do not try to sound smart. They try to be understood. Another important foundation is pace. Fast speech often signals nervousness. Slow speech signals calm. You do not need to speak slowly all the time. You need to avoid rushing. A steady pace allows listeners to follow. It also allows you to think. Thinking while speaking is easier when pace is calm. Another foundation is pausing. Pauses give shape to speech. Without pauses, words blend together. A pause is not weakness. It is structure. Pauses let your message land. They also give you control. Control builds confidence. Another foundation is tone awareness. Tone carries emotion. The same words can feel different with different tone. Calm tone invites listening. A tense tone creates distance. You do not need a special voice. You need a natural one. Natural tone comes from relaxed breathing. Another foundation is body awareness. Your body affects your voice. Tight shoulders create tight sound. Relaxed posture supports steady speech. You do not need perfect posture. You need comfort. Comfort shows in your voice. Another foundation is eye focus. You do not need intense eye contact. Soft focus is enough. Looking at someone shows presence. Presence builds connection. Connection supports clear speaking. Another foundation is mental space. If your mind is busy, speech suffers. Reduce mental noise. Focus on the moment. Presence clears the mind. Clear mind, clear speech. Another key foundation is listening first. Listening organizes your response. When you listen fully, your reply becomes easier. You do not need to prepare while the other person speaks. Trust that a response will come. It usually does. Another foundation is honesty. Speaking honestly reduces pressure. You do not need to sound perfect. You need to be real. Real speech feels natural. Natural speech feels confident. Another foundation is accepting imperfection. Mistakes will happen. Accepting this reduces fear. Reduced fear improves clarity. Another foundation is intention. Know why you speak. Are you sharing, explaining, asking? Clear intention guides words. Words follow intention. Another foundation is emotional awareness. Emotions affect clarity. If you feel strong emotion, slow down. Give yourself a moment. Moments prevent messy speech. Another foundation is volume balance. Too soft feels unsure. Too loud feels forced. Aim for comfortable volume. Comfort sounds confident. Another foundation is ending sentences calmly. Do not trail off too much. Finish thoughts gently. This creates stability. Stability signals confidence. Another foundation is trusting simple words. You do not need big vocabulary. Clear beats fancy, always. Another foundation is reducing filler words. Fillers appear when rushing. Slowing down reduces them. Pauses replace fillers. Pauses sound thoughtful. Another foundation is speaking from meaning. Do not recite lines. Speak from understanding. Understanding flows naturally. Another foundation is staying present. Do not replay past mistakes while speaking. Stay here, now. Present supports clarity. Another foundation is patience. Clear speaking develops over time. Do not rush growth. Growth needs repetition. Another foundation is self-kindness. Harsh self-talk creates tension. Gentle self-talk creates ease. Ease improves speech. Another foundation is practicing daily. Small conversations count. You do not need big stages. Daily use builds comfort. Comfort builds clarity. Another foundation is focusing on connection. Connection matters more than perfection. When you aim to connect, words simplify. Simple words create strong connection. Another foundation is calm endings. Finish thoughts without rushing away. Calm endings leave good impressions. Another foundation is accepting silence. Silence helps thinking. Thinking helps clarity. Another foundation is managing energy. Low energy affects voice. Rest supports speech. Another foundation is curiosity. Curiosity shifts focus outward. Outward focus reduces self-consciousness. Less self-consciousness improves clarity. Another foundation is realistic expectations. You will not speak perfectly every time. That is normal. Confidence grows anyway. Another foundation is reflection. Notice what works. Learning improves skill. Skill improves confidence. Another foundation is trusting progress. Small improvements matter. They add up. Another foundation is grounding. Feel your feet. Feel your breath. Grounding steadies voice. Another foundation is choosing calm over speed. Calm communicates better, always. Another foundation is clarity of thought. Think simply. Speak simply. Simple is strong. Another foundation is believing improvement is possible. Belief fuels effort. Effort creates change. Clear speaking is built on these foundations, not on talent, not on luck. When foundations are strong, speech becomes easier. Easier speech builds confidence. Confidence encourages more speaking. More speaking builds skill. This cycle works in your favor. Clear speaking is not magic. It is structure, and structure can be learned, step by step, moment by moment. This is how strong communication begins. Chapter 3. Listening like a skilled communicator. Many people think communication is about speaking well. They focus on words. They focus on delivery. But strong communication begins somewhere else. It begins with listening. Listening is often underestimated. It looks passive. It looks simple. But real listening is active. It requires attention. It requires presence. Most people do not listen to understand. They listen to reply. While the other person speaks, they prepare answers. They think about what to say next. They miss half the message. When this happens, connection weakens. A skilled communicator listens fully, not to win, not to impress, but to understand. Understanding changes everything. When people feel understood, they relax. When they relax, they speak more openly. Open conversations build trust. Trust strengthens communication. Listening also reduces pressure on you. You do not need to carry the conversation alone. The other person shares the space. This shared space feels lighter. Many people struggle with listening because their mind is noisy. Thoughts interrupt. Judgments appear. Assumptions form. Noise blocks attention. Attention is the heart of listening. To listen well, you must slow your mind. Not completely, just enough to notice. Notice words. Notice tone. Notice pauses. Sometimes what is not said matters more. A pause can show hesitation. A tone shift can show emotion. Listening goes beyond words. Another reason people struggle to listen is impatience. They want quick exchanges. They want fast replies. But real understanding takes time. When you rush listening, you miss meaning. Meaning lies in details. Another barrier to listening is ego. Ego wants to be right. It wants to speak. Listening asks ego to wait. Waiting can feel uncomfortable, but it builds wisdom. A skilled communicator values understanding more than being right. Another challenge is distraction. Phones, noise, busy thoughts, divided attention weakens listening. When you listen, give full focus. Even for a short time, short full attention is better than long half attention. Eye contact helps listening, not staring. just gentle focus. It signals presence. Presence tells the speaker they matter. People respond well to this. They feel respected. Respect deepens conversation. Another part of listening is not interrupting. Interrupting breaks flow. Flow supports expression. Let people finish. Even if you think you know their point, sometimes the real message comes at the end. Another listening skill is reflecting. This means restating what you heard, not word for word, just the meaning. This shows you care. It also corrects misunderstandings early. Misunderstandings grow when unchecked. Listening prevents many conflicts. Many arguments exist because people feel unheard. When people feel heard, anger softens. Soft emotions support calm communication. Another listening habit is asking gentle follow-up questions. Questions show interest. Interest builds connection. Connection builds trust. Trust makes future talks easier. Another important part of listening is emotional awareness. People often share feelings indirectly. They may talk about events, but emotions sit underneath. Listen for feeling, not just facts. When you notice feelings, respond with care. Care deepens trust. Another challenge is listening during disagreement. Disagreement triggers defense. Defense blocks listening. You do not need to agree to listen. You only need to understand. Understanding reduces tension. Tension blocks communication. Another listening skill is patience with silence. Some people need time to think. Silence helps them. Do not rush to fill it. Silence can be part of listening. Another common mistake is selective listening, hearing only what you like, ignoring the rest. This distorts communication. Listen to the full message, even uncomfortable parts. Growth often hides there. Another helpful idea is curiosity. Curiosity improves listening. When curious, you ask, you explore, you stay open. Openness strengthens connection. Another barrier to listening is assumptions. Assuming you know what someone will say. Assumptions close the mind. An open mind listens better. Another listening skill is noticing body language, posture, facial expressions, energy. These signals add meaning. Communication is more than words. Another challenge is emotional reaction. Strong feelings can block listening. If emotions rise, slow down, breathe, stay present. Presence protects listening. Another important idea is respect. Listening is a form of respect. Respect builds strong relationships. Strong relationships support honest communication. Another listening habit is not turning the conversation to yourself too quickly. Sharing is fine, but timing matters. Let the other person feel heard first. Being heard satisfies a deep need. When that need is met, conversations flow. Another listening strength is memory. Remember small details. People appreciate this. It shows attention. Attention builds trust. Another challenge is listening when tired. Fatigue reduces focus. If tired, slow down. Give simple responses. Simple listening is still valuable. Another listening skill is neutrality. You do not need strong reactions to everything. Neutral presence feels safe. Safe spaces invite sharing. Another helpful idea is grounding while listening. Feel your breath. Stay in the moment. This prevents drifting. Another barrier is planning your story while others talk. This splits focus. Finish listening first. Your turn will come. Another important idea is that listening teaches you. You learn about people. You learn about perspectives. Learning improves communication. Another listening benefit is fewer mistakes. You understand before responding. Understanding reduces conflict. Another challenge is listening to criticism. Criticism can hurt. Listen for useful parts. Not all criticism is fair. Some is helpful. Confidence listens calmly. Another listening habit is allowing emotion. If someone feels deeply, let them. Do not rush to fix. Listening itself can comfort. Another important idea is that listening builds influence. People trust good listeners. Trust increases impact. Another benefit is that listening reduces anxiety. You focus outward. Outward focus reduces self-consciousness. Another challenge is listening in groups. Many voices, many signals. Focus on one speaker at a time. Simple focus works. Another listening skill is acknowledging. Small nods, short responses. These show attention. Attention encourages sharing. Another barrier is judgment. Judging blocks understanding. Understanding needs openness. Another helpful idea is empathy. Imagine their perspective. Empathy deepens listening. Another benefit is stronger bonds. People remember good listeners. They feel valued. Feeling valued strengthens relationships. Another truth is that listening improves speaking. When you hear others well, you respond better. Better responses sound confident. Another challenge is impatience with long talkers. Stay calm, guide gently if needed. Patience shows maturity. Another listening practice is reflection after conversations. Notice what you learned. Learning improves skill. Skill builds confidence. Another important idea is that listening is a gift. You offer attention. Attention is rare. People appreciate it. Another benefit is clarity. You understand before reacting. Clarity reduces mistakes. Another truth is that listening makes you calmer. Calm supports confidence. Another challenge is listening when distracted. Return focus gently. No need to judge yourself. Just return. Another listening habit is staying present until the end. Endings matter. Sometimes key points come last. Another important idea is that listening is half of communication. Maybe more. Strong listeners are strong communicators. Listening is not silence. It is active care. Care builds trust. Trust builds connection. Connection builds confidence. When you listen like a skilled communicator, you do not just hear words. You understand people. And understanding people is the heart of communication. Chapter 4. Confidence in everyday conversations. Many people wait for big moments to practice communication. They think confidence shows during speeches, during interviews, during important meetings. But real confidence is built somewhere else. It is built in everyday conversations, small talks, short exchanges, simple greetings. These moments look ordinary, but they shape your comfort with speaking. Every time you speak, your brain learns. It learns that talking is safe, or it learns that talking is risky. If you avoid speaking, your brain learns fear. If you practice speaking, your brain learns safety. This learning happens quietly. Everyday conversations are training grounds. They carry low pressure. Low pressure makes practice easier. You do not need perfect words. You need participation. A simple hello matters. A short reply matters. A small comment matters. These actions build familiarity. Familiarity reduces fear. Many people ignore small talk. They think it is meaningless. But small talk builds social comfort. Comfort supports confidence. Small talk is not about deep ideas. It is about connection. Connection makes people feel at ease. Ease improves communication. Another reason everyday talks matter is repetition. Repetition builds skill. You cannot build skill without use. Think of communication like a muscle. Use strengthens it. Avoidance weakens it. Even brief talks count. Another challenge people face is overthinking simple moments. They search for interesting things to say. Simple is enough. A natural comment works. A calm response works. You do not need to entertain. You need to engage. Engagement builds flow. Flow feels good. Feeling good builds confidence. Another helpful idea is starting small. You do not need long talks. Start with short ones. Short talks feel safe. Safety encourages growth. Another benefit of everyday conversations is feedback. You see how people respond. You notice what works. This learning improves skill. Another important part is tone. Everyday talks let you practice tone. A warm tone invites response. A tense tone closes doors. Warmth builds connection. Connection supports confidence. Another challenge is fear of awkwardness. Awkward moments happen. They are human. Confidence does not remove awkwardness. It reduces fear of it. When awkwardness appears, stay calm. It passes quickly. Another helpful idea is presence. Be where you are. Do not plan too much. Presence makes speech natural. Natural speech sounds confident. Another benefit is eye contact practice. Soft eye contact shows attention. Attention builds trust. Trust makes conversations easier. Another challenge is rushing. Many people rush small talks. Slow down slightly. Calm pace feels confident. Another helpful practice is asking simple questions. Questions keep conversations alive. They show interest. Interest builds connection. Connection reduces pressure. Another benefit is learning to end conversations calmly. Endings matter. A calm ending leaves a good impression. Good impressions build comfort. Comfort builds confidence. Another challenge is mood. Bad moods affect speech. Notice your mood. If low, keep talk simple. Simple still builds practice. Another helpful idea is using everyday moments as training. Talk to coworkers. Talk to neighbors. These moments are safe. Safety supports growth. Another benefit is noticing progress. Maybe you speak a little more. Maybe you feel calmer. Small progress matters. Progress builds motivation. Another challenge is comparison. Do not compare your small talks to others. Everyone grows differently. Focus on your steps. Another helpful idea is consistency. Daily small talks beat rare, big talks. Consistency builds habit. Habit builds confidence. Another benefit is reduced fear over time. What feels scary becomes normal. Normal feels safe. Safety supports clarity. Another challenge is energy. Low energy affects voice. Rest helps. Good energy supports communication. Another helpful idea is curiosity. Be curious about people. Curiosity creates questions. Questions create flow. Flow feels natural. Another benefit is social comfort. The more you talk, the easier it feels. Ease builds confidence. Another challenge is fear of being boring. You do not need to be exciting. You need to be real. Real builds trust. Trust builds connection. Another helpful idea is gentle smiling. A small smile warms tone. Warmth invites response. Another benefit is learning timing. You sense when to speak. Timing improves flow. Flow supports confidence. Another challenge is negative self-talk. Replace harsh thoughts with calm ones. Calm thoughts support calm speech. Another helpful idea is grounding. Feel your breath before speaking. Grounding steadies voice. Another benefit is reduced anxiety. Familiar talks feel safe. Safety reduces tension. Another challenge is distractions. Focus fully for short moments. Short focus is powerful. Another helpful idea is noticing body language. Relaxed posture supports relaxed speech. Another benefit is social learning. You observe others. You learn styles. Learning improves skill. Another challenge is patience. Growth takes time. Small steps count. Another helpful idea is celebrating effort. Trying matters. Effort builds courage. Courage supports confidence. Another benefit is emotional balance. Regular talks reduce social fear. Reduced fear improves clarity. Another challenge is expecting quick results. Confidence grows slowly. Slow growth lasts. Another helpful idea is forgiving mistakes. Move on quickly. Moving on protects confidence. Another benefit is stronger presence. You feel more comfortable around people. Comfort shows in voice. Another challenge is silence. Allow short pauses. Pauses are normal. Another helpful idea is ending on a positive note. Kind words leave warmth. Warmth strengthens connection. Another benefit is habit formation. Daily talking becomes normal. Normal builds confidence. Another challenge is self-doubt. Doubt fades with practice. Practice builds trust. Another helpful idea is remembering purpose. You speak to connect. Connection matters. Another benefit is reduced pressure in big moments. Small practice prepares you. Preparation builds calm. Another challenge is over-planning. Let talks flow naturally. Natural flow feels confident. Another helpful idea is staying human. You do not need to impress. You need to connect. Connection is enough. Everyday conversations may seem small, but they build big confidence. They shape comfort. They shape skill. They turn fear into familiarity. And familiarity turns into confidence. Chapter 5. Using tone and voice properly. Your words matter, but your voice carries those words. Many people focus on what to say. Few focus on how they say it. Yet listeners often respond more to tone than content. You can say kind words with a harsh tone. They will not feel kind. You can say simple words with a warm tone. They will feel meaningful. Tone shapes emotion. Emotion shapes connection. Connection shapes communication. Your voice is not just sound. It is a signal. It tells others how you feel. It tells them how safe the conversation is. A calm voice invites listening. A tense voice creates distance. Confidence grows when you understand this. Many voice problems begin with tension. A tense body creates a tense voice. Notice your shoulders. Notice your jaw. Notice your breathing. Tight body. Tight sound. Relaxing your body softens your voice. You do not need a special voice. You need a relaxed one. Breathing plays a big role. Shallow breath weakens voice. Steady breath supports it. Before speaking, take a calm breath. Not deep, just natural. This steadies your tone. Another important part is pace. Fast talking often signals nerves. Slow talking signals calm. You do not need to speak slowly all the time. You need steady rhythm. Steady rhythm feels confident. Another key is volume. Too soft feels unsure. Too loud feels forced. Aim for comfortable volume. Comfort sounds natural. Natural feels confident. Another part of voice control is pitch. Pitch rises when nervous. Pitch steadies when calm. You do not need to control pitch strictly. Focus on calm breathing. Breathing balances pitch. Another important idea is variation. A flat voice sounds bored. A varied voice sounds engaged. Variation comes from interest. When you care about what you say, tone changes naturally. Do not force emotion. Connect to meaning. Meaning shapes tone. Another helpful idea is ending sentences clearly. Trailing off sounds unsure. Gentle endings sound stable. Stability signals confidence. Another challenge is filler sounds. Words like appear when rushing. Slow down. Pause instead. Pauses sound thoughtful. Thoughtfulness feels confident. Another key point is intention. Know why you speak. Are you sharing, explaining, asking? Clear intention guides tone. Tone follows intention. Another part is emotional awareness. Strong emotions leak into voice. Anger sharpens tone. Anxiety tightens sound. Notice feelings before speaking. Awareness reduces leakage. Another helpful idea is vocal ownership. Accept your voice. Do not fight it. When you accept your voice, it relaxes. Relaxed voices sound confident. Another challenge is comparing voices. Every voice is unique. Confidence does not copy. It owns. Another key point is posture. Slouched posture compresses voice. Open posture supports sound. Comfortable posture helps breathing. Breathing supports tone. Another helpful idea is recording yourself sometimes, not to judge, to learn. Awareness improves skill. Another challenge is speaking when tired. Fatigue affects voice. Rest helps. Energy supports sound. Another important idea is warmth. Warm tone builds trust. Trust strengthens connection. Connection supports communication. Another part is clarity. Clear pronunciation helps understanding. You do not need perfect accent. You need clear speech. Clarity builds confidence. Another helpful idea is smiling gently while speaking. A small smile softens tone. Soft tone invites connection. Another challenge is rushing to finish. Rushing tightens voice. Take your time. Time supports calm. Another important idea is using pauses. Pauses shape speech. They give weight. Weight adds authority. Authority feels confident. Another part is listening to others' tone. It teaches you. Observation improves skill. Another challenge is forcing confidence. Forced tone sounds unnatural. Natural tone builds trust. Another helpful idea is grounding. Feel your feet. Feel your breath. Grounding steadies voice. Another important idea is speaking from meaning. Not memorized lines. Meaning flows better. Flow sounds confident. Another part is kindness. Kind tone strengthens relationships. Strong relationships support communication. Another challenge is tension in the throat. Relax your jaw. Relaxation improves sound. Another helpful idea is hydration. Dry throat affects voice. Water helps. Another important idea is silence. Silence supports tone. Quiet moments reset voice. Another part is consistency. Regular speaking builds comfort. Comfort improves tone. Another challenge is self-criticism. Harsh thoughts tighten voice. Kind thoughts relax it. Another helpful idea is patience. Voice control grows slowly. Practice helps. Another important idea is authenticity. Do not pretend. Real tone connects. Connection builds confidence. Another part is emotional honesty. You can be calm and honest. Honesty feels stable. Another challenge is overthinking tone. Trust natural speech. Over-control sounds stiff. Another helpful idea is focusing on message. Meaning matters most. Tone follows meaning. Another important idea is balance. Calm but alive. Soft but clear. Balance feels confident. Another part is using your voice to support, not dominate. Support builds trust. Trust strengthens communication. Another challenge is fear of judgment. Most people focus on meaning, not tone details. Relax. Another helpful idea is practice in daily life. Small talks build skill. Skill builds confidence. Your voice is a tool for connection, a tool for clarity. When you treat it with care, it works better. You do not need a perfect voice. You need a present one. A present voice carries calm. Calm carries confidence. And confidence is heard before it is seen. Chapter 6. Staying calm under pressure. Pressure changes how people communicate. It speeds up thoughts. It tightens the body. It shakes the voice. Even skilled speakers feel pressure. Pressure is normal. Confidence is not the absence of pressure. It is the ability to stay steady inside it. Pressure often appears in important moments. A meeting, an interview, a serious talk. In these moments, the brain senses risk. It tries to protect you. Your heart beats faster. Your breath shortens. Your muscles tighten. This reaction is not weakness. It is biology. The problem is not the reaction. The problem is believing you cannot handle it. You can. Calm begins with awareness. Notice your body. Are your shoulders tight? Is your jaw tense? Is your breathing shallow? Noticing creates control. When you notice tension, slow your breath. A slow breath tells your body you are safe. Safety softens pressure. Another helpful step is slowing your pace. Pressure makes people rush. Rushing creates mistakes. Mistakes increase fear. Slow speech creates stability. Stability builds confidence. Another important idea is grounding. Grounding brings you into the present. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your hands. This simple focus calms the mind. A calm mind speaks better. Another challenge under pressure is overthinking. Your mind tries to be perfect. Perfection creates stress. Simple speech works better. One idea at a time. Another helpful idea is accepting silence. Under pressure, silence feels scary. But silence gives time. Time helps thinking. Thinking improves clarity. Another important step is focusing on message, not image. If you worry about how you look, pressure grows. If you focus on meaning, pressure drops. Meaning matters more than appearance. Another challenge is fear of judgment. You imagine others judging. Most people focus on themselves. This truth reduces pressure. Another helpful idea is preparation. Know your main point. Clarity reduces stress. You do not need a script, just direction. Another key idea is emotional regulation. Strong feelings cloud speech. If emotion rises, pause. Pausing protects clarity. Another challenge is negative self-talk. Thoughts like, I will mess up. These thoughts increase pressure. Replace them gently. Say, I can handle this. Supportive thoughts calm the mind. Another helpful idea is realistic expectations. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be clear. Clear is enough. Another important idea is posture. Open posture supports breathing. Good breathing supports voice. Another challenge is rushing answers. Take a moment before replying. A short pause shows thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness feels confident. Another helpful idea is focusing on one person. In groups, pick one friendly face. This reduces intensity. Less intensity means less pressure. Another key idea is practice. Pressure feels smaller with experience. Experience builds tolerance. Tolerance builds calm. Another challenge is fear of mistakes. Mistakes are normal. Recovery matters more. Calm recovery keeps confidence intact. Another helpful idea is naming your feelings silently. I feel nervous. Naming reduces intensity. Reduced intensity supports clarity. Another important idea is letting go of control. You cannot control everything. You can control your response. Response is where confidence lives. Another challenge is fast heartbeat. Let it be. Do not fight it. It slows naturally. Another helpful idea is speaking from meaning. Meaning anchors you. Anchors reduce pressure. Another key idea is staying present. Do not think about future reactions. Stay here. Presence reduces fear. Another challenge is mental blankness. It happens. Pause. Breathe. Continue. People are patient. Another helpful idea is hydration. A dry throat increases tension. Water helps voice. Another important idea is calm beginnings. Start slowly. Slow starts create steady flow. Another challenge is comparison. Do not compare under pressure. Focus on your message. Another helpful idea is remembering past success. You handled things before. You can again. Memory builds trust. Another key idea is curiosity. Be curious about the moment. Curiosity shifts focus outward. Outward focus reduces anxiety. Another challenge is emotional pressure. Important talks carry weight. Weight needs calm. Calm comes from breath. Another helpful idea is short sentences. Short sentences are easier under pressure. Ease supports clarity. Another important idea is patience. Let yourself think. Thinking improves answers. Another challenge is fear of silence from others. They may be thinking. Allow it. Another helpful idea is gentle smiling. It relaxes the face. Relaxed face softens voice. Another key idea is accepting imperfection. Imperfection is human. Human feels real. Real builds trust. Another challenge is high expectations. Lower pressure by focusing on connection. Connection matters most. Another helpful idea is reframing pressure. See it as importance. Importance shows you care. Caring is positive. Another important idea is rest before big moments. Rested minds handle pressure better. Another challenge is multitasking. Focus on one thing. Focus improves calm. Another helpful idea is ending calmly. Do not rush endings. Calm endings leave good impressions. Another key idea is self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Kindness reduces stress. Another challenge is tension in voice. Relax your throat. Soft voice carries better. Another helpful idea is slow breathing between sentences. This resets calm. Another important idea is trust. Trust your ability. Trust builds confidence. Another challenge is fear returning. Fear comes and goes. Confidence stays when you continue. Another helpful idea is repetition. Repeated exposure reduces pressure. Another key idea is purpose. Remember why you speak. Purpose anchors you. Another challenge is distraction. Stay present. Presence protects calm. Another helpful idea is learning from each experience. Each moment teaches. Learning builds skill. Another important idea is that pressure is temporary. It passes. Confidence grows when you stay steady through it. You do not need to remove pressure. You need to manage it. Calm is a skill, and like all skills, it improves with practice. Each time you stay calm under pressure, you build real confidence. Not loud confidence, steady confidence. The kind that stays when things feel important. The kind that supports clear communication. Chapter 7. Asking better questions. Many people think good communicators always have great answers. They try to prepare smart replies. They try to sound knowledgeable, but strong communicators often do something else. They ask good questions. Questions are powerful. They open conversations. They invite sharing. They reduce pressure. When you ask questions, you do not carry the talk alone. The other person joins. This shared space feels easier. Many people feel nervous in conversations because they think they must talk a lot. Questions remove that pressure. You do not need long speeches. You need curiosity. Curiosity is the heart of good questions. When you are curious, your tone softens, your body relaxes, your mind opens. Openness builds connection. Connection builds confidence. A good question is not complicated. It is sincere. Simple questions often work best. You do not need fancy words. You need real interest. People can feel the difference. A forced question feels empty. A sincere one feels warm. Warmth invites answers. Another benefit of questions is time. Questions give you time to think. While the other person speaks, you breathe. Your nerves settle. Calm returns. Calm improves communication. Another powerful effect is learning. Questions teach you about people. You learn what they value, what they enjoy, what they think. Understanding people makes future talks easier. Another reason questions help is direction. Questions guide conversations. They keep talks from going flat. Flat conversations feel awkward. Guided ones feel smooth. Smooth flow builds confidence. Another important skill is listening after asking. A question is only strong if you listen. Listening shows respect. Respect builds trust. Trust strengthens connection. Another common mistake is asking and then interrupting. Interrupting breaks flow. Let the answer finish. The full answer often matters. Another helpful habit is asking follow-up questions. Follow-ups show attention. Attention makes people feel valued. Feeling valued builds connection. Connection reduces tension. Another challenge is fear of asking something wrong. Most simple questions are safe. You do not need perfect wording. Kind tone matters more. Another helpful idea is open questions. Open questions invite longer answers. They create space. Space creates flow. But do not overthink structure. Focus on interest. Interest guides good questions. Another challenge is silence after asking. Silence means thinking. Allow it. Do not rush to fill it. Thinking leads to better replies. Another mistake is asking too many questions in a row. This can feel like an interview. Balance matters. Ask, listen, share. Sharing builds mutual connection. Another helpful idea is gentle questions during tension. Questions can calm disagreements. They show curiosity instead of attack. Curiosity softens conflict. Another benefit is reduced self-focus. When you ask, attention moves away from you. Less self-focus means less anxiety. Less anxiety supports confidence. Another challenge is personal questions. Respect boundaries. If someone seems uncomfortable, shift gently. Respect builds trust. Trust supports communication. Another helpful idea is tone awareness. A warm tone makes any question better. A cold tone can feel sharp. Warmth invites honesty. Another benefit is deeper conversations. Good questions move beyond small talk. They create meaningful talks. Meaningful talks build strong connections. Another challenge is asking out of habit, not interest. People sense this. Stay genuine. Genuine builds trust. Another helpful idea is self-questioning. Ask yourself what you want to know. This guides natural questions. Natural questions feel confident. Another benefit is adaptability. Questions adjust to any situation. They keep talks alive. Conversations feel easy. Another challenge is overthinking the next question. Relax. One question at a time. Simple works. Another helpful idea is curiosity about perspective. Ask how others see things. Perspective questions reduce conflict. They show openness. Openness builds respect. Another benefit is shared responsibility. Conversation becomes teamwork. Teamwork reduces pressure. Less pressure builds confidence. Another challenge is fear of sounding boring. But questions make talks interesting. Interest comes from engagement, not performance. Another helpful idea is timing. Ask during natural pauses. Timing improves flow. Another benefit is emotional safety. Questions help people express feelings. Expression reduces tension. Less tension improves communication. Another challenge is distractions. Focus fully when asking. Full attention strengthens connection. Another helpful idea is smiling gently. A small smile warms questions. Warmth invites sharing. Another benefit is learning social cues. You see how people react. Learning improves skill. Skill builds confidence. Another challenge is impatience. Let people speak. Patience shows respect. Another helpful idea is asking about experiences. People enjoy sharing stories. Stories deepen connection. Another benefit is stronger memory. People remember good listeners and good questioners. This builds positive impressions. Another challenge is judging answers. Avoid quick judgment. Stay open. Openness builds trust. Another helpful idea is curiosity instead of assumptions. Assumptions close doors. Curiosity opens them. Another benefit is smoother networking. Questions make meeting new people easier. Ease builds confidence. Another challenge is over-control. Let talks flow. Flow feels natural. Another helpful idea is focusing on learning, not impressing. Learning reduces pressure. Less pressure supports calm. Another benefit is better relationships. Questions show care. Care builds bonds. Another challenge is fear of vulnerability. Questions can be light. They do not need to be deep. Start simple. Another helpful idea is balance. Do not only ask, share a little too. Balance feels natural. Another benefit is reduced awkwardness. Questions keep talks moving. Movement reduces silence. Fear. Another challenge is self-doubt. Trust your curiosity. Curiosity guides you. Another helpful idea is daily practice. Ask simple questions often. Practice builds comfort. Comfort builds confidence. Another benefit is stronger presence. You stay engaged. Engagement shows confidence. Another challenge is rushing. Slow down. Calm questions sound confident. Another helpful idea is ending with appreciation. Thank people for sharing. Gratitude strengthens connection. Questions are not tools for control. They are bridges. Bridges connect people. Connection is the goal of communication. You do not need to talk more to be confident. You need to connect more. Good questions help you connect, and when you connect, confidence grows naturally. Chapter 8. Reading people and situations. Communication is not only about words, it is also about awareness. Every conversation has a mood. Every person carries emotions. Every situation has energy. Skilled communicators notice these things. They read people and situations calmly. This skill is often called reading the room, but it is really about awareness. Awareness gives you information. Information helps you respond wisely. Many people ignore these signals. They focus only on what they want to say. When this happens, conversations feel off. Timing feels wrong. Responses feel mismatched. Reading people helps you adjust, not to be fake, but to be effective. Adjustment is not dishonesty. It is social awareness. You already adjust in daily life. You speak differently in a library than at a party. This is natural. Communication works the same way. One important part is noticing emotional tone. Is the person relaxed, stressed, excited, quiet? These clues guide your approach. If someone seems tired, keep it simple. If someone seems open, you can explore more. Respecting emotional tone builds comfort. Comfort supports connection. Another part is body language. People speak with their bodies. They lean forward when interested. They pull back when unsure. They nod when they agree. These signals matter. They add meaning to words. A person may say they are fine, but their posture may show stress. Awareness helps you notice, not to judge, just to understand. Another important skill is watching pace. Some people talk fast, some talk slowly. Matching pace slightly builds harmony. Harmony makes conversations smoother. This does not mean copying. It means adjusting gently. Another part is noticing energy levels. High energy needs a calm response. Low energy needs warmth. Balanced energy feels good. Good feelings support communication. Another challenge is assumptions. Assumptions distort reality. You may think someone is upset when they are focused, or bored when they are quiet. Do not assume too quickly. Observe first. Observation reduces mistakes. Another helpful idea is checking gently. If unsure, ask simple questions. This shows care. Care builds trust. Another important part is context. Where are you speaking? Workplace, home, public space. Context shapes tone. Tone shapes impact. Another challenge is emotional contagion. Emotions spread. If a room feels tense, you may feel tense. Stay grounded. Your calm can balance the room. Calm presence influences others. Another helpful idea is noticing reactions. Are people engaged, distracted, confused? Adjust based on feedback. Feedback improves communication. Another important skill is timing. Speaking at the right moment matters. Wait for natural openings. Openings create smooth flow. Flow feels confident. Another challenge is over-adjusting. Trying too hard to fit in feels fake. Small adjustments are enough. Stay yourself. Authenticity matters. Another helpful idea is cultural awareness. Different cultures show emotions differently. Some are expressive, some are reserved. Awareness prevents misunderstanding. Curiosity helps here. Another important part is self-awareness. Your mood affects perception. If you are stressed, you may misread signals. Check your state. Clear mind reads better. Another challenge is fear of standing out. Reading the room does not mean disappearing. You can still share your voice. Respectful expression builds confidence. Another helpful idea is group awareness. Groups have dynamics. Some speak more, some speak less. Notice patterns. Enter when space appears. You do not need to compete. Calm entry works. Another important skill is noticing discomfort. If someone looks uneasy, slow down. Gentle pace builds safety. Safety supports openness. Another challenge is misreading signals. It happens. No one reads perfectly. Stay flexible. Adjust if needed. Flexibility is strength. Another helpful idea is focusing on one person at a time. This reduces overload. Simple focus improves awareness. Another important part is emotional labeling. You can sense feelings without naming them out loud. Just notice. Noticing guides response. Another challenge is pressure to manage everyone's feelings. You are not responsible for all emotions. You are responsible for your presence. This reduces pressure. Another helpful idea is staying neutral. Neutral tone calms situations. Calm improves clarity. Another important skill is knowing when to speak less. Less can be more. Silence can show respect. Respect builds trust. Another challenge is overstimulation. Busy environments overwhelm awareness. Slow down internally. Focus on basics. Another helpful idea is reflection after conversations. Notice what you observed. Learning improves skill. Skill builds confidence. Another important truth is that reading people is not mind reading. It is noticing clues. Clues guide you. They do not control you. Another challenge is self-consciousness. Too much focus on yourself blocks awareness. Shift focus outward. Outward focus improves perception. Another helpful idea is curiosity. Curiosity opens attention. Open attention reads better. Another important part is humility. You may be wrong. That is okay. Learning improves accuracy. Another challenge is emotional reactions. Strong feelings cloud judgment. Breathe. Return to calm. Calm sees clearly. Another helpful idea is patience. Reading situations takes time. Do not rush. Another important truth is that awareness grows with practice. The more you notice, the better you get. Skill grows quietly. Another challenge is fatigue. Tired minds miss signals. Rest supports awareness. Another helpful idea is trusting your intuition gently. Notice feelings, but come firm with observation. Balance works best. Another important part is kindness. Kindness improves perception. You see people more clearly. Another challenge is fear of doing it wrong. There is no perfect, there is learning. Learning builds confidence. Another helpful idea is remembering purpose. You read people to connect. Connection matters most. Another important truth is that awareness deepens relationships. People feel understood. Understanding builds trust. Trust strengthens communication. Reading people in situations is not about control. It is about sensitivity. Sensitivity helps you respond well. Responding well builds confidence, and confident communication grows from awareness, not just words. Chapter 9: Speaking without fear of judgment. Fear of judgment is one of the biggest barriers to communication. It stops people before they speak. It makes them doubt simple thoughts. It turns small moments into big worries. Many people do not struggle with ideas. They struggle with fear of reaction. They wonder how others will respond. They imagine criticism. They picture embarrassment. This fear feels real, but it is often exaggerated. Most people are thinking about themselves, their own words, their own worries. They are not watching you closely. Understanding this reduces pressure. Another important truth is that judgment is normal. People have opinions. They agree. They disagree. You cannot control this. Trying to avoid all judgment leads to silence. Silence may feel safe, but it creates distance. Distance weakens connection. Connection needs expression. Speaking carries risk, but silence carries regret. Regret often lasts longer than judgment. Confidence grows when you accept this trade-off. Another reason fear grows is perfectionism. People wait for perfect words. They delay speaking. They edit thoughts too much. Perfection slows communication. Natural speech works better. Simple words connect faster. Another source of fear is past experience. Maybe someone laughed once. Maybe someone criticized you. The brain remembers pain. It tries to protect you, but protection can become limitation. You are not in the same moment now. You have grown. Awareness breaks old patterns. Another helpful idea is separating thoughts from identity. A thought is not your whole self. If someone disagrees, they challenge an idea, not your worth. This separation reduces fear. Another challenge is imagining negative outcomes. The mind predicts embarrassment. These predictions are stories, not facts. Return to the present. The present is safer than imagination. Another helpful step is grounding. Feel your breath. Feel your body. Grounding calms nerves. Calm supports speech. Another important idea is clarity. Know your main point. One clear idea feels safer to share. Clarity reduces fear. Another challenge is lack of exposure. Avoidance keeps fear strong. Small speaking moments weaken fear. Share small opinions. Make small comments. Each success teaches safety. Another common habit is apologizing before speaking. This lowers confidence. You do not need to apologize for sharing. Respectful tone is enough. Another helpful idea is contribution mindset. You are adding to conversation, not performing. Contribution feels lighter. Performance feels heavy. Choose contribution. Another important idea is self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Harsh self-talk increases fear. Gentle thoughts calm the mind. Another challenge is comparison. Comparing blocks expression. Your voice is unique. It does not need to compete. Authenticity builds confidence. Another helpful idea is tentative phrasing. You can share ideas as thoughts. This invites dialogue. Dialogue reduces pressure. Another important truth is that people value honesty. Honest speech builds trust. Trust reduces judgment. Another challenge is group speaking. Groups feel intense. Focus on one person. This reduces fear. Another helpful idea is noticing reactions calmly. Do not assume judgment. Observe reality. Reality is often kinder than fear. Another important practice is reflection. After speaking, notice what went well. This builds evidence. Evidence builds confidence. Another challenge is vulnerability. Sharing feelings feels risky, but it deepens connection. Deep connection reduces judgment. Another helpful idea is safe environments. Practice with supportive people. Confidence grows faster there. Another important idea is rewriting inner stories. If you think you are bad at speaking, you act that way. Change the story. New stories create new behavior. Another challenge is fear of labels. One moment does not define you. People are complex. Confidence remembers this. Another helpful idea is curiosity about reactions. Instead of fearing judgment, learn from feedback. Feedback can help. Another important practice is celebrating courage. Speaking despite fear is brave. Acknowledge it. Another truth is that fear fades with repetition. Familiarity reduces anxiety. Practice creates familiarity. Another challenge is rumination. Do not replay endlessly. Reflect briefly and move on. Moving on protects confidence. Another helpful idea is self-trust. Trust that you can handle reactions. Trust grows with action. Another important idea is clear endings. Say your point and stop. Over-explaining invites doubt. Clarity shows confidence. Another challenge is approval seeking. Approval feels good, but dependence weakens confidence. Appreciate approval. Do not need it. Another helpful idea is values. Speak from values. Values anchor you. Anchors reduce fear. Another important truth is that judgment often reflects others' fears. People project. You do not need to absorb it. Another challenge is silence after speaking. Silence can mean thinking. Allow it. Another helpful idea is learning mindset. Every talk teaches something. Learning builds skill. Skill builds confidence. Another important idea is self-respect. Your voice matters. Sharing honors yourself. Another challenge is fear of being ignored. Even if ignored, you expressed. Expression builds confidence. Another helpful idea is alignment. Speak in line with your beliefs. Alignment creates strength. Another important truth is that you cannot remove all judgment. You can reduce its power. Power shrinks when you speak anyway. Another challenge is emotional fatigue. Fear is tiring. Expression frees energy. Another helpful idea is reframing judgment as information. Information helps growth. It is not a final verdict. Another important practice is calm after speaking. Do not rush to judge yourself. Let it go. Another challenge is staying kind to yourself after criticism. Kindness protects confidence. Another helpful idea is viewing speaking as practice. Practice reduces pressure. Another important truth is that confidence is steady, not loud. Steady grows through action. Another challenge is waiting for fear to disappear. Fear fades after action. Action comes first. Another helpful idea is noticing progress. Remember how far you came. Progress fuels motivation. Another important idea is connection. You speak to connect. Connection matters more than approval. Speaking without fear does not mean fear disappears. It means fear no longer controls you. Each time you speak honestly, fear loses strength, and confidence grows quietly in its place. Chapter 10: Handling Silence and Pauses. Silence makes many people uncomfortable. They feel pressure to fill it. They rush to speak. They fear it looks awkward. But silence is a natural part of communication. It is not a mistake. It is not failure. It is space. Confident communicators understand this. They do not fight silence. They use it. Many people fear silence because they misunderstand it. They think silence means something is wrong. They think it means others are judging them. Most of the time, silence simply means thinking. People need time to process, time to choose words, time to feel. When you rush to fill silence, you interrupt this process. Allowing silence shows patience. Patience feels confident. Another reason silence feels scary is self-focus. You worry how you appear. You worry about being awkward. Shift focus outward. Notice the other person. Notice the moment. This reduces pressure. Another helpful idea is reframing silence. Silence is not empty. It carries meaning. A pause after a strong sentence adds weight. A pause after a question invites thought. Pauses shape communication. Without pauses, speech feels crowded. Crowded speech is harder to follow. Clear speech needs space. Space comes from silence. Another benefit of silence is emotional control. Strong emotions need space. Silence allows cooling. Cooling prevents regret. Regret often comes from rushed words. Another important idea is breathing during silence. A calm breath resets your body. Reset body. Reset voice. Another challenge is silence after asking a question. You may feel the urge to repeat it. Wait. People often need a few seconds. Those seconds are normal. Another helpful idea is counting slowly in your mind. This keeps you calm. Calm supports confidence. Another important point is that silence shows listening. Listening builds trust. Trust strengthens connection. Another challenge is group silence. In groups, silence can feel heavy. Remember, others may be thinking too. You are not alone in the pause. Another helpful idea is using silence intentionally. Pause before important points. It draws attention. Attention improves impact. Another important idea is self-trust. Trust that you do not need constant words. Your presence matters. Presence communicates confidence. Another challenge is fear of forgetting what to say. If you forget, pause. Let thoughts return. They usually do. Another helpful idea is simple honesty. You can say you need a moment. This feels natural. Natural feels confident. Another important truth is that silence often feels longer to you. Others may not notice it much. Your mind exaggerates it. Knowing this reduces fear. Another challenge is silence during emotional talks. Emotion slows thinking. Silence respects feelings. Respect builds trust. Another helpful idea is grounding. Feel your breath. Feel your body. Grounding reduces anxiety. Another important point is that confident people do not rush. They allow rhythm. Rhythm includes pauses. Another challenge is cultural differences. Some cultures value silence more. Awareness helps. Adapt gently. Another helpful idea is practicing pauses daily. Pause before replying. This builds comfort. Comfort reduces fear. Another important truth is that silence can signal thoughtfulness. Thoughtfulness earns respect. Respect supports confidence. Another challenge is inner chatter. Your mind may criticize you. Let thoughts pass. Do not engage. Engaging increases anxiety. Another helpful idea is viewing silence as listening time. Listening time is valuable. Value reduces fear. Another important point is that silence deepens conversations. Depth builds connection. Connection strengthens communication. Another challenge is silence after disagreement. It can cool tension. Cooling helps clarity. Another helpful idea is patience. Patience strengthens calm. Calm supports confidence. Another important idea is knowing when to speak again. Speak when you have something clear. Do not rush. Another challenge is apologizing for silence. You do not need to. Silence is normal. Another helpful idea is observing confident speakers. They pause often. They do not hurry. They trust timing. Another important truth is that avoiding silence shows discomfort. Comfort with silence shows confidence. Another challenge is new relationships. Silence can feel awkward. Give time. Comfort grows. Another helpful idea is using silence to think. Thinking improves answers. Better answers build confidence. Another important idea is silence as strength. Strength does not always speak. It holds space. Another challenge is silence triggering old fears. Notice them. Do not obey them. Another helpful idea is trusting the flow. Conversations have rhythm. You do not need to control it. Another important truth is that silence helps intuition. You hear your thoughts. Clear thoughts improve speech. Another challenge is ending conversations. A calm pause can end naturally. Natural endings feel smooth. Another helpful idea is self-comfort. Silence is time with yourself. Comfort with self equals confidence. Another important truth is that silence is full, not empty. It holds meaning. Meaning appears when allowed. Another challenge is pressure to entertain. You do not need constant words. You need connection. Connection includes quiet. Another helpful idea is acceptance. Accept silence as normal. Acceptance reduces fear. Handling silence well is a powerful skill. It shows calm. It shows presence. It shows confidence. When you stop fighting silence, you start using it. And silence becomes your ally, not your enemy. Chapter 11. Fixing mistakes gracefully. Mistakes are part of communication. No one speaks perfectly all the time. Words slip. Timing feels off. Messages get misunderstood. This happens to everyone. Confidence is not about avoiding mistakes. It is about handling them well. Many people fear mistakes too much. They think one wrong word ruins everything. This belief creates pressure. Pressure makes more mistakes. The cycle continues. Breaking this cycle begins with acceptance. Mistakes are normal. They are not proof of failure. They are proof of trying. When a mistake happens, your body reacts. Your heart may race. Your face may feel warm. Your thoughts may scatter. This is natural. Do not panic. Pause. A small pause protects confidence. Another helpful step is staying calm. Calm prevents overreaction. Overreaction draws attention to the mistake. Calm softens it. Often, small mistakes go unnoticed. People are focused on meaning, not perfection. If the message is clear, the mistake fades. Another important skill is simple correction. If you misspeak, correct gently. No drama, no long apology. A calm correction shows awareness. Awareness builds trust. Another challenge is over-apologizing. Too many apologies reduce confidence. One sincere apology is enough. Respect yourself too. Another helpful idea is humor. Light humor can soften small errors. It shows ease. Ease feels confident. Do not force humor. Keep it natural. Another important idea is letting go quickly. Do not hold the mistake in your mind. Move forward. Lingering creates anxiety. Another challenge is replaying mistakes later. Rumination drains confidence. Reflection is helpful. Rumination is not. Reflect briefly. Learn one lesson, then release it. Another helpful idea is curiosity. Ask what you can learn. Learning turns mistakes into growth. Growth builds confidence. Another important truth is that people are forgiving. They forget small errors. You should too. Another challenge is embarrassment. Embarrassment feels big in the moment. It fades. Time softens it. Allow it to pass. Another helpful idea is repair. If someone feels affected, repair gently. A sincere apology works. Repair strengthens relationships. Another important idea is separating identity from action. A mistake is something you did, not who you are. This protects confidence. Another challenge is fear of repeating mistakes. Fear increases tension. Tension causes more mistakes. Focus on learning instead. Learning reduces repetition. Another helpful idea is perspective. Ask if this will matter later. Often it will not. Perspective reduces stress. Another important idea is staying present. Do not mentally leave the conversation. Stay engaged. Presence allows recovery. Another challenge is public mistakes. Groups increase pressure. The same rule applies. Pause. Correct calmly. Continue. People respect calm recovery. Another helpful idea is self-kindness. Treat yourself gently. Harsh self-talk weakens confidence. Kindness supports growth. Another important truth is that mistakes humanize you. People relate to imperfection. Relatability builds trust. Trust supports communication. Another challenge is shame. Shame isolates. Sharing with trusted people helps. Connection reduces shame. Another helpful idea is gratitude for lessons. Mistakes teach. Learning builds skill. Skill builds confidence. Another important idea is preparation. Clear thinking reduces mistakes, but preparation is not perfection. Allow flexibility. Another challenge is fear after a bad experience. One moment does not define you. You have many conversations ahead. Each is a new chance. Another helpful idea is focusing on message. Meaning matters most. If meaning is clear, mistakes fade. Another important truth is that confident people make mistakes too. They just recover faster. Recovery is the skill. Another challenge is self-image. Protect it with compassion. Compassion fuels resilience. Another helpful idea is breathing. Breath calms nerves. Calm nerves improve recovery. Another important idea is values. Speak with integrity. Integrity stays even after mistakes. Another challenge is pressure from others. You are allowed to be human. No one is perfect. Another helpful idea is progress mindset. Each mistake helps growth. Growth builds strength. Another important truth is that recovery builds more confidence than perfection. Handling mistakes teaches resilience. Resilience supports communication. Another challenge is holding on to regret. Regret teaches once, then release it. Another helpful idea is resetting focus. Return to connection. Connection matters more. Another important idea is courage. Speaking despite risk is brave. Acknowledge your effort. Another challenge is fear of future talks. Past mistakes do not predict the future. Each talk is new. Another helpful idea is calm endings. End conversations smoothly. Do not drag mistakes forward. Another important truth is that everyone is learning. Even experienced speakers grow. Growth never stops. Fixing mistakes gracefully is a powerful skill. It keeps confidence steady. You do not rise because you never fall. You rise because you recover. Recovery shows strength. Strength builds confidence, and confidence grows each time you handle mistakes with calm. Chapter 12. Becoming a lifelong communicator. Communication is not a finish line. It is a lifelong practice. There is no day when you suddenly become perfect. No moment when you never feel nervous again. No point where every word comes out right. And that is normal. Strong communicators are not perfect. They are aware. They are patient. They keep learning. Confidence in communication is not built in one big step. It is built in many small ones. Every conversation shapes you. Every talk teaches something. Every moment gives feedback. Growth happens quietly. Many people think confidence is a personality trait, something you either have or do not. But confidence is built through action, through showing up, through trying again. Each time you speak, you train your mind. You teach it that communication is safe. Safety builds comfort. Comfort builds confidence. One important truth is this: you will still have awkward moments. You will still say the wrong word sometimes. You will still feel unsure at times. Confidence does not remove these moments. It helps you handle them calmly. Calm is stronger than perfection. Another important idea is self-trust. Trust that you can express yourself. Trust that you can recover. Trust that your voice has value. Self-trust grows from experience, not from thinking, from doing. Every time you speak honestly, self-trust grows. Another key part is patience. Real growth takes time. You cannot rush comfort. You cannot force confidence. You build it slowly, like learning a sport, like learning music. Practice matters. Another important idea is letting go of old labels. Maybe you once thought you were shy, or quiet, or bad at speaking. Labels are stories. Stories can change. Each new action writes a new story. Over time, the old story fades. Another truth is that communication changes with life. New jobs, new relationships, new environments. Each one stretches your skills. Sometimes confidence will feel strong. Sometimes it will feel small. That does not mean you failed. It means you are growing. Growth often feels uncomfortable first. Another important idea is staying aligned with your values. Speak with honesty. Speak with respect. Speak with care. When your words match your values, confidence feels solid. You are not pretending. You are expressing. Expression feels lighter than performance. Another key idea is balance. Confidence is not dominance. It is not talking over others. It is also not silence from fear. It is balance. Speaking and listening, sharing and receiving. Balance builds strong communication. Another important truth is empathy. Understanding others improves your own communication. When people feel understood, they open up. Open conversations feel easier. Ease supports confidence. Another part of lifelong communication is curiosity. Curiosity keeps you learning. Ask questions, notice reactions, stay interested in people. Curiosity prevents stagnation. Another important idea is rest. A tired mind struggles to communicate. Energy supports clarity. Clarity supports confidence. Taking care of yourself helps your voice. Another truth is boundaries. You do not need to speak all the time. You do not need to share everything. Choosing when to speak is also confidence. Silence can be wise. Another key idea is forgiveness. Forgive your past mistakes. Forgive your quiet moments. They were part of learning. Holding guilt blocks growth. Releasing it frees you. Another important idea is presence. Communication lives in the present moment, not in the past, not in the future. When you are present, you listen better. You speak more clearly. Presence is powerful. Another truth is that confidence spreads. When you speak calmly, others relax. Your calm influences the room. You help create safe conversations. Safe conversations build trust. Another important part is responsibility. Words have impact. Use your voice with care. Kind words last long. Respectful tone builds bridges. Good communication improves relationships. It improves teamwork. It improves understanding. It reduces conflict. It creates connection. Connection is the real goal. Another truth is that you do not need to impress people. You need to connect with them. Connection matters more than sounding smart. Simple words with honesty are powerful. Another key idea is reflection. Sometimes pause and look back. Notice how far you came. Maybe you speak more now. Maybe you feel calmer. Small progress is real progress. Recognizing it builds motivation. Another important truth is that learning never stops. Even great speakers keep improving. Stay open to growth. Growth keeps confidence alive. Another idea is courage. Courage is not loud. It is quiet action. It is speaking when it matters. It is asking when unsure. It is sharing honestly. Courage builds confidence. Another important truth is that your voice matters. Your thoughts matter. Your perspective matters. Even if not everyone agrees. Agreement is not required for value. Value comes from honesty and respect. Another key idea is purpose. Remember why you communicate: to connect, to understand, to share. Purpose guides your words. When purpose is clear, fear feels smaller. Another truth is that no one remembers every word you say, but they remember how you made them feel. If people feel heard, they remember you kindly. If they feel respected, they trust you. Feelings last longer than phrases. Another important idea is calm endings. End conversations with presence, not rush. A calm ending leaves a strong impression. Another truth is that confidence is quiet. It does not need attention. It does not need approval. It is steady. It grows inside. Another key idea is consistency. Small daily efforts matter more than rare. Big efforts. Talk a little. Listen a lot. Stay present. These small habits build a strong communicator. Another important truth is this: you are already improving just by learning, just by trying, just by paying attention. Growth started the moment you cared about communicating better, and it will continue. You do not become a confident communicator once. You become one again and again, in each talk, in each pause, in each honest word. Confidence lives in how you show up, calm, clear, present. That is the heart of communication, and it is a skill you will carry for life.